Welcome everyone to our November 12th, 2019 celebration of service. Welcome to the Bloomington Rotary Club. I'm Aaron Davis, the current club president. And now I'd like to have Heather Bozarth come up for the pledge and reflection.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I always feel like I should say amen after that. Amen.
Please be seated.
So I've lived in Bloomington for 15 years. However, when someone else who lives here asks me where I'm from, I get nervous because I don't know if I'm from here yet. Bloomington's a really tight-knit and welcoming community, but I don't know when you know if you're a townie or not. So I've made a checklist for those of us like me who still aren't sure. So in Jeff Foxworthy's spirit, you might be from Bloomington if you've jumped off rooftop quarry. No. I had to phone in help from real townies for some of these. So, if your Kroger has a nickname, you might be from Bloomington. I find Krogucci has the best wine selection. If you're torn between wanting to ride a scooter and being upset that the people who do, you might be from Bloomington. If you have friendships that started by sinking the biz, you might be from Bloomington if you get excited when Pizza X gets a newly colored cup to add to your collection. If you've seen more than one SUV with New Jersey plates driving down the Beeline Trail or going the wrong way on Walnut, you might be from Bloomington. If you've crawled headfirst into Buckner's Cave, you might be from Bloomington. If you dip your breadsticks in nacho cheese, and I can assure you that is a local delicacy, you might be from Bloomington. If you avoid Target for the entire month of August, you might be from Bloomington. And if you are shocked that other towns' farmers markets don't have a live band, you might be from Bloomington. So I can't check yes to every item on this list, but I've survived a scooter ride, I've learned to love dipping breadsticks in cheese, and I get sad when I go to a grocery store without a cool nickname. So I can proudly say that I am a Bloomingtonian, unless I am not. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. I'd like to acknowledge today's greeter, Clint Vaugh, and photographer Charlie Osborne. Is Charlie here? Hey, hi Charlie. Our roundabout reporter is Jim Bright, and I also want to recognize CATS, Community Access Television Services. Now, Owen Johnson will introduce our guests.
Thank you, Aaron. As I read the names of the guests, I would ask that they stand so that they can be properly welcomed. Jean Emery has two guests. First is a trustee for Van Buren, Rita Barrow. And the other guest of Jean is an IU student, Sierra Ford. A guest of Michael Shermis is an IU Health ARS, Amanda Mosler. A guest of Dave Meyer is a CPA, Arthur Levy. And it says here on this paper, a guest of Ann Bright is Ann Bright. Thank you for coming to today's meeting. We hope you have an opportunity to come back and perhaps join us on a permanent basis. If you have questions about Rotary, just ask the people at your table.
Thank you, Owen. This week's and last week's birthdays. Clint Baugh, November 3rd. Ann Connors, today. And Walt Kuhn, November 13th. And Trent Deckard, coming up on the 14th. And we've got a couple of membership anniversaries. Phil Eskew, 38. And Beth Spradley, her second. And I want to, I've had a practice of trying to welcome our more recent members because, we don't necessarily get to integrate them into our view of who's a Rotarian, and they are. So I want to, Vaughn Welch is here, and Heather, and Clint, and Kevin Hopper Knudstrom. I don't know if everyone's seen you, Kevin. Welcome. And, we always also have to have the sad news. Most of you know that Keith Miser passed away at the age of 78 on October 28th. He'd been a member of our club since 2013. Before moving to Bloomington in 2013, he'd been Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs at the University of Hawaii and at Hilo. Keith and his wife, Ann, were dedicated volunteers at Teachers Warehouse, where they frequently worked in the checkout area. A celebration of life service will take place after this meeting today, 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. at the IU Memorial Union in the President's Room of the University Club. So some of us are planning to be there. Keith was a really good guy. Rotarians in the news, I want to mention and congratulate Lauren and Morgan Snyder again for receiving the Butler University Foundation Award on October 25th. And then Lauren also presided over the Economic Forum this year, and it went really well. Very well done, and Kyla was organizer, and Natalie. So thank you very much. You really made the club made me look good. While I got to actually sit and eat a meal. It was amazing. So thank you. Ashley Sullivan, our president-elect, is going to come up. You remember we do a hat drawing for an organization, charitable organization that will receive a quarterly donation from our speakers, in honor of our speakers. So we're going to choose that organization now. Drum roll. What do you think? Okay. Wheeler Missions. Okay. Thank you. Very good. So, Rotary Action updates. There's always a lot going on. I'm not going to get into a lot of details, and I will keep my eye on the clock. So be sure to check this week's roundabout for details, or email me if you want any additional information. We're looking for a November service project. I know we're already into November. Let me know if you know of any opportunities in which we could get together as a club, as a group, and do things. We will have the bell ringing for December, and we've already got a bunch of people signed up. Check with Natalie if you have any questions about that. IU has officially approved the new IU Rotaract Club. So that's a big deal. We haven't had an active club in a little while. And thank you. Maren McClelland is the club president for this year. Megan Gearhart is vice president. Katie Beck, the faculty advisor. They've already had one call-out meeting and another on the way. So it's a really positive move forward. I'm hoping to post our starting times for these celebrations of service as 11:45 rather than noon. If anyone thinks that's a problem, let me know, because I want, some people have said that they don't realize that dinner, the meal starts at 11:30, the buffet line. And so if you show up at 12, you've sort of missed a lot of the social opportunities. So if anyone thinks that's a problem, let me know. Our annual holiday party, Thursday, December 12th at Bloomington Country Club. Natalie and Ashley are doing the planning, and that sounds good. Anyone else who wants to be involved, especially from the Fellowship and Fund Committee, please contact Ashley and Natalie. December 20th is deadline for applications for the 2020 to 2021 Global Grant Scholarships. So that's an important opportunity for a young person doing graduate work overseas. Contact Jim Bright with any questions. Our next 505 gathering is going to be Thursday, November 21st, again at Connor's Tap, which is near the northeast corner of Henderson and Winslow on the south side. It was well received last time. Rotary Toast, we had a good turnout there. If anyone wants to do a Happy Dollars on that, it came off really well. A great event, very inspiring. So thank you all for your participation, and especially Sarah Laughlin, Jim Bright, Chris Kroll on the organizing committee. Okay. Happy Dollars. Who do we have here? Susie here. Are we going to have to put you into service, Jean?
Maybe.
Yeah. Come on up. Do we have Happy Dollars, especially people who are newer, who haven't done it often before? If you have something that you're happy about, something you want to commemorate.
First dollar, because it is my first Happy Dollar. And the second dollar is because the art museum just opened up across the street. Great.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin.
Happy that my granddaughter turned 4 yesterday.
Okay, Mike, congratulations.
I'm happy because I got to see our basketball team live last week. Great show.
Okay.
$2 for the snow, I'm gonna give it back.
Okay, Charlotte, thank you.
I'm happy to have done it to keep minds through Bloomington Worldwide Friendship, where he and his wife were wonderful advocates for international students.
Thank you, yes.
That's not make you walk all the way down.
That's it?
I think Jean had enough steps for the day already, probably. Okay, anyone else with something to celebrate? There's some good news. Well, you guys are good news for me, so thank you all. And now, Jean, please come directly. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Okay, Jean Emery is going to introduce today's program.
Thank you. That was fun, guys. I've never been so active in Rotary ever. So anyway, I'm really excited. I never got to introduce a speaker before, but I met this gentleman this summer and was very impressed. And so finally, he's here today. We're going to hear from Lieutenant Ford. He's a firefighter for Van Buren Township. Rita Barrow, who is my guest, introduced me to him, and we were just having some general conversation, and he started talking about this Monroe Project Lifesaver. It's fascinating, and I think you'll find it as well. Transmitter bands are worn by individuals that are living with dementia or other types of disabilities, and they have a tendency to wander off. They have a device, they can find those individuals. I think Rita might even participate a couple minutes in their talk today. So Lieutenant Ford has been with the Van Buren Fire Department for 23 years. He began his first service career in fire in South Houston, Texas as a volunteer in 1982, prior to moving to Bloomington in 1995. He's received various awards, including the David Hamilton Lifetime Achievement, that's through the Bloomington Exchange Club, the Everyday Hero Award through Herald Times multiple years, 1998, 2012, 2015, and 2016. He was Firefighter of the Year for Van Buren Fire Department in 1989, and he was Firefighter of the Year for South Houston Volunteer Fire Department. Lieutenant Ford is married and has 5 grown children. 2 are in college at Indiana University, and Sierra is with us today. And she has a twin brother, Seth. Of course, he's not here today. Yeah, Dad says he hopes he's in class. And he has 3 children who are married, but he saved the best for last. He has 4 awesome grandbabies. Please join me in welcoming Lieutenant Paul Ford.
I'm not sure I got anything left to say. I was going to start off with a real quick video, and then I'll go into exactly what Project Lifesaver is, if the video will work. Can y'all hear that?
Those deaths are raising awareness of a program that can help first responders track missing persons more quickly. Rich 9 shows us how the system works and gives families a safe peace of mind.
Children with autism sometimes have a tendency to wander off. If they do, this device and that chirp you hear might save their life.
They don't understand safety. They don't understand depths of water, things like that. So there's a lot more risks in being able to teach a person with autism a lot of the safety awareness that they would need to remain safe.
The Wayne and Decatur Township and Morgan County Fire Departments ran a rescue simulation at Daymar Services using Project Lifesaver.
The first thing we do is to do a 360 because the victim could be in the home or whatever the last seen location was.
The receiver listens for a radio signal sent by a bracelet transmitter worn by people who tend to wander off.
It's over here. To our right.
You know that time is critical, so you will hustle.
Absolutely, yes, because kids, especially kids with autism, are attracted to water. So whenever we go on a search, we take everyone seriously. Here she is! I found her! I found her! I found the victim! Are you okay?
The drill victim, Marlena, was found about 300 yards away in just over 5 minutes. Searches this summer in Brownsburg and Perry Township took many hours before the boys with autism were found in retention ponds 100 yards from the homes.
I know it would have made a difference because they would have been found, a lot sooner instead of overnight or, hours later. So it would have made a difference. So, I mean, if you have a child that wanders, has a history, they need to be on Project Lifesaver.
Kim Cisa's son Derek was the first person in Indiana to wear the...
Okay, that was rude. Well, basically, that just gives you an overview of what Project Lifesaver really is. The program actually started in Chesapeake, Virginia in 1999. There was a gentleman by the name of Gene Saunders who was a deputy sheriff. I believe might have been a captain, I believe. As a deputy sheriff, he had gone out looking for people that lived with dementia or Alzheimer's that wandered away from their homes, and frankly, not finding them until 12, 24 hours, even longer. And at that point, most of the time, he was finding them dead. He got to thinking, there has to be a way to help these people. He was out with, I don't know what they're called in Virginia, but it's equal to our DNR, with a gentleman friend of his that he was literally tracking animals. Light bulb went off. Why can't we do this for people? So he developed the program, came up with the equipment. In the first year, I believe there were 15 people enrolled as basically trials. In that 1 year period, all 15 people had gone missing. All 15 were found quickly and were back home. About 15 years ago, it was under Sheriff Steve Sharp's administration, there was a deputy by the name of Barb Beelan that brought Project Lifesaver to Monroe County originally. And it never really took off. I don't know, even speaking with her today, I don't know if one, she didn't have quite the backing that I had, two, autism and dementia and Alzheimer's weren't quite in the forefront as they are today. But she retired. She calls me up one day. She says, "Hey, Paul, I've got this equipment. I need somewhere I can store it." So I told her. I said, "Throw it in the closet. I don't care. Leave it in there." About the same time, this was about 5 years ago, about the same time I had a lady that, as soon as I tell you her name, you'll probably recognize the name. I had a lady that called me up, frantic. I'm talking to this lady, I had no idea who she was, didn't have a clue. But her little girl was autistic. Her little girl, we've come to call her Houdini. She likes to split. She likes to run. She called me up and says, "I hear you have this equipment. I need my daughter in this program." And I was like, "Carrie, I know nothing about this." "Well, you need to get trained." She stayed on me probably about 3 months. She'd call me up, I'd blow her off. She'd call me up, I'd blow her off. About 2 things kind of happened in that period. I also worked for Bloomington Hospital Ambulance Service as a part-time job. One day we were out, I was working the ambulance out here on the east side, and I'd been listening to the radio all day long. Police department was searching for this one lady all day long. It's a 12-hour shift. About 6 o'clock in the evening, we got I'm sorry, it makes me tear up. About 6 o'clock in the evening, we got dispatched to 46 and 446. I had to help fish her out of a pond. She was a quarter mile from home. Between her and Carrie, that's what got me going. Well, not to mention Rita kind of got on my back. So I went and got trained. So I get trained. As a matter of fact, the lady that was on the video a minute ago with the equipment, she's the one that actually trained me. She's retired now, was with Wayne Township Fire Department. So we got trained. I called Carrie up. I said, "Carrie, good news is I'm trained. Bad news is I have no equipment, I have no money." She went on a one-person rampage. In 3 months period, raised enough money to where we started the program back up in Monroe County 5 years ago. Since then, her name's Carrie Shabarami, and unfortunately, Carrie has moved to Colorado. I'm still upset over that. Carrie still helps me, but her daughter was the first one in the program 5 years ago. Since then, we have grown from her. I have actually had I've got 43 clients current. We've had roughly probably close to 100 people in the program at some point. Some of them come out of the program because they move away, some of them pass away, just various reasons. But it's been a total of about a little over 100. So currently, the way the program works for Monroe County Project Lifesaver, they have to live within Monroe County. The program is nationwide. It can, it depending on where you're at, may or may not have the program. Around us currently, Greene County has the program, Morgan County, Lawrence County, Columbus just got it. No, Brown County's working on it. Does Bartholomew County have it, or is it just City of Columbus? Do you know? That's what I'm thinking too. And currently, if a person's in our program, if they were to travel, go down to Florida, snow bunnies, I do have a client that does that. We can transfer it down to Florida. They use the exact same equipment that I would use. Program works the same. The clients, to be in the program, the main criteria is they have to have a history of wandering. Wandering means, I've had this conversation with people. They call me up and say, my child, he's autistic, we were at Walmart, I turned around, he was gone. Well, you know, you turned around looking at something, you need to pay attention to your child. That ain't wandering. Wandering is whenever a person becomes, I don't know the correct term I'm looking for, but fixated on something. For instance, if it's an Alzheimer or dementia patient, in the evening they'll do what's called sundowning. And that's where, you know, basically it's caused by, as the days wore on, they're starting to get tired, their mind starts to wander more. They think in their mind, it's time for me to go to work. Or in the case of this one client I had, been married 50 plus years. In the evening, she would start sundown, she wouldn't recognize her husband. She knew she had to get away from this guy. Out the door she went. And we searched, we did numerous searches on her for that reason. So, you know, whenever they become lost, that's whenever I try to get involved. The clients need to be, so they have to have a history of wandering. They have to be generally living at home with a caregiver. Reason for that, if they're in a facility of some sort, logistically, I just couldn't do it. There are too many people living in facilities, living with dementia. So I'm looking for the ones at home. My goal is trying to keep them at home as long as possible with their family, as long as their families are able to take care of them. Same thing with children. Currently, there are roughly about, don't hold me to this number, roughly about 3,000 kids in Monroe County School District that has some form of autism. Now, autism's big, that's just a big giant umbrella, you know. But they're living with some sort of autism. With autism, with dementia, with Down syndrome, any of the other cognitive reasons a person would wander, not everybody's going to wander. My mother-in-law, for instance, she had Lewy body dementia and started out as vascular dementia, but she never wandered off. She never even tried to wander off. Did she need this? No, she didn't need it. The ones that I look for are the ones that have come up lost. Now, some people ask me, well, how do you find referrals? How do you get referrals? Well, one good resource I have, Amanda, will you please stand up? Yeah, I'm gonna front her. This is Amanda Mosier. She works for IU Health Alzheimer Resource Center. A lot of people will contact her office, herself, or Dana Thompson. There's two ladies that run that office. Let me tell you something. They run their butts off. You know, and they deserve a round of applause for what they do. They will contact me. They also know how to pull at me too. But they'll contact me and say, hey, I've met with this person, I've met with these people, they could need to be on this program, and this is the reason. So at that point, I'll get a hold of the family, have them fill out the paperwork, go over it, make sure they fit the program, and then I have to interview the caregivers, and I also interview the dementia patient. It doesn't matter to me, just because they have dementia does not mean they cannot understand stuff. You know, that's one thing that irritates me with a lot of people. For instance, I'm sitting there talking to their family, the lady sitting there, we're talking about her, I'm talking to her. Okay, I want them to listen, but I want to talk to her because I need her to understand why she's wearing this as best I can. Same thing with children. I do the same thing with kids. The kids are the one that's wearing it. Yes, the parents want them on the program. Yes, they probably need to be on the program, but I need the child to understand. And when I say child, if they're usually above 4, I can usually get down to their level. And believe me, I will get down on the floor with them. So I get referrals from Amanda. I also get referrals from ABA therapy, I get referrals from schools, police department. Anytime a person goes missing, police officers are dispatched. A lot of times, all the police departments in Monroe County knows what this program is. Once they find the person, they will send me the family's contact information. I'll contact them. I explain the program to them. Say it's out here. Here it is. If you want it, it's voluntary. We'll talk about it. Sometimes I get them in the program. Sometimes I don't. They don't call me back. That's on them, not me. What is Project Lifesaver? Basically, Project Lifesaver is, hopefully y'all can see this. Whoops. The client will wear this little, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
The client can wear this little case. Locked inside that case is a little transmitter, just like this. This little transmitter will put off a radio frequency signal. That means it is not a GPS, it is not cell phone technology, strictly a radio frequency. It goes from this transmitter to my receiver, just like the one that was on that news clipping. Each one of these transmitters have their own frequency. I can have up to 999 frequency on 216 megahertz radio. Okay, that's where this picks it up at. So the clients will wear it either on their ankle, which is what I personally prefer. Reason for that is it can be well hidden, especially with dementia patients. They tend to forget about it if it's on their ankle, whereas if it's on their wrist, you get ready to take a shower, first thing you do is start taking your watches off. This doesn't come off. This is worn 24/7. If they will find a pair of scissors and snip it off. Every time. When that happens, they call me, I'll go put it back on. So I do prefer to put it on their ankles. That way they can pull their socks up over it. They can conceal it from other people. People don't need to know they have it. It doesn't do anything to hurt my signal. When a client goes missing, they call 911. Say, Joe Bob's missing, you need to go find him. They will, if they're a client of Project Lifesaver, they will contact the police department. It's going to go en route no matter what. It's a missing person. Police departments, that's what they do. With a client that's in Project Lifesaver, the jurisdictional fire department, be it Bloomington City, Ellettsville, Benton Township out of Lake Lemon, that department will be dispatched as well, along with Van Buren Township. Van Buren will respond to everyone anywhere in this county. The only way we can operate this program is with the cooperation of all the fire departments. Other than that, I would be completely lost. The fire departments really stepped up when we started this. We managed to get all the fire departments trained. I do retraining with them yearly. And I got them each equipped with one of these receivers. So we have, for instance, if I have to come from home and they're missing out of Lake Lemon, it's going to take me 45 minutes at least to get there. The fire department out there has already responded. They've already started searching. The signal which the transmitter puts off can be picked up by this receiver within 1 mile of wherever it's located. Okay. With that, even in hilly areas, being radio frequency, the signal follows the curvature of the ground. I'm in a hill, a lot of hills. All I'd have to simply do is go to the top of the hill, point my receiver down the hill. Chances are I'm going to pick it up. Whenever I start a search, we actually have antennas that plug into this that we mount on top of our vehicles. So So as we're arriving on the last known location of an area, I'm already listening for the signal. Once I locate that signal with the antenna mount on the vehicle, I'm within a 1/4 of a mile of wherever that transmitter is located, but it's in all directions. It's called an omni antenna. Everybody knows omni means circle. So as I approach an area, I get a signal, I'm gonna stop where I'm at, I'm going on foot. This little fella here will point me in that direction. The way it does that, I've actually, there it is. There's actually one hidden in this room somewhere. I don't know where it's at. So that's the signal that's coming from. That's the signal I listen for. Okay, well, I can tell you it's on that side of the room. As I get closer, if you, remember I said I go on foot, it points me in that direction. Okay. You leave? Everybody tell my daughter bye. Thank you, baby. Love you. You got class. You know where I was going. So as I get ready to go on foot, I'm going to do a 360 degrees. What I'm listening for is trying to figure out the direction that signal's coming from. As I move away from it, the signal kind of diminishes. As I come around, it kind of gets a little bit louder. This does not use cell phone technology nor GPS. The reason for that, there are good GPS systems out there. There are good cell phone systems out there. However, how many times do you lose signal with your cell phone? A lot. Even with GPS, where I have to have a clear signal to the satellites, and if it was a day like yesterday, it would be hit and miss. With a radio signal, I don't lose it. Once I find the signal, we don't lose it, no matter the weather. Now, if it's raining or snowing, it does play havoc with me. It will kind of tend to bounce, but it still goes in that general direction. So far, I've done roughly about, in 5 years, I've done about 29 searches in Bloomington County on different people. The longest search has taken me 25 minutes. That was from the time I got on scene. That particular lady had me stumped. I knew she was there. I didn't know where she was at. I was getting aggravated. It was, you might know what I used to walk with the dog. There was I'm walking past her. I'd walk past, I'm getting good signals. I know she's here. Walk past her. I'd lose my signal. All right, come back. Strong signal. I'd lose my signal. Finally, I happened to notice a cellar door. I looked over and I saw the cellar. Half the leaves were gone off of it. She'd gone down that cellar. But and that's why I was walking back and forth. So as soon as I opened up the cellar, this thing went crazy. And walked down there, and lo and behold, that was down there. And she was scared. Typical. We got her home, got her safe, everything was fine. The transmitters will put off a signal within 6 feet of water. Most children and dementia patients are attracted to water. They believe it's because of a calming effect. How many of us have sat at the beach, watched the waves, and just sit there and relax? Same thing with these people. However, if they're in water, it's going to be recovered. No matter what, we could not physically get out there quick enough, but I would be able to at least get them out of that water soon. Get them home. So far, it's not happened. But God, it never does. So, as I was saying a minute ago, I got one hidden in this room. I don't know where it's at. That's true. Somebody else want it? You're more than welcome. Anybody, man, get over here. So, all she's gonna do, I'm gonna time her too. It's not hidden real bad. Come on, Tanya.
Okay.
Okay. Lowest head.
Alright.
Do a real quick 360. Just listen to your signal. Listen for it'll probably diminish.
I don't know if that's diminished.
It really didn't diminish, but I can tell you it's in that direction. Trust me.
Are you sure?
Just
It's
walk
not
around.
as fun.
Okay, you've already lost your signal.
Uh-huh.
Okay, there it goes. Just see here it gets stronger.
I don't, honey.
I swear I don't. I give you my word on this. I don't know where it's at.
Okay.
But if you look, the one thing I don't know if what.
Doesn't sound very loud.
Well, then keep following it.
Okay.
I'll get her trained on this one day. Another thing that I do also do for clients.
It's somewhere over here.
There you go.
Is it in this backpack?
I don't know. I didn't hide it.
It has to be.
Another thing I also do for clients is we have this particular receiver. It's over. I think he's got it.
I think you got it.
Either him or somebody at this table. This equipment is not rocket science. The receiver that she's holding is adjustable. I can adjust it to each individual transmitter. However, there's systems out there, exact same one that individuals can purchase that it has it fixed. So what I will do, if they're traveling with kids and they don't have the program where they're going, I will actually change the transmitter, train the mom and dad how to use this equipment, not alone with the equipment. Another question that comes up, how are we funding this? How much does it cost? We started this program.
I know it's somewhere over here, but I'm just waiting.
The program, when we started this program, we, keep going.
Oh.
It wasn't quite loud enough. He's got it.
Oh.
I knew it was right here. So you can see, as long as you have faith in the system's going to work. I knew it was in that general direction. I didn't know which one of these people had it. See, anyhow, the way it's funded, there was no tax dollars involved. It's funded strictly by donations. We have been very fortunate to get donations for this program. I've gotten a couple of small grants, but the majority has been from donations. We do not charge clients. Reason for that is, when we first started the program back up, our belief was people that have autism, for instance, if a child has autism and they had to have ABA behavioral therapy, believe it or not, that costs almost $700 per day. Insurance, they have to have special insurance to pay for this. It's ridiculous. A dementia patient, I know firsthand because my mother-in-law is just astronomical. I want people to be able to use the program. We don't charge for this program for that reason. People are medical bill to death. Insurance will not cover this. My concern is not about money. My concern is getting these people home. That's my only concern. The batteries, I have changed batteries. I had to meet with each client every 60 days. That becomes a challenge. That's a whole challenge by itself. We have to, I have changed batteries every 60 days. Does anybody have any real quick questions? Yes, ma'am.
Can you give us an idea of how many people are in the program right now?
Currently in Monroe County, there's 43. Probably after tomorrow, there'll be 44.
What's their age groups? Age?
My youngest is 3, and my oldest, currently, I think they're in their 80s. I really don't know. Yes, sir.
Are all the people that you think are eligible for the program able to be met with the current level of funding you have?
Right now, currently, if I with no growth, with staying with my 43 that I have now, we can sustain about 3 years. Because, just maintenance costs. The cost of the vans, cost of the batteries, that sort of thing. But that's no room to grow. So I'm always looking for different things. We do a lot of fundraising. We do some fundraising.
But you're not turning people away at this point?
At this point, no. Truthfully, the only reason I would turn people away is my golden number is 50. Chances are I'll probably raise that. But it's logistically, it becomes difficult, mainly with battery changes. That's where it becomes really difficult. Yes.
I have a family that has 2 children with Down syndrome. I have 5 children. They live in Ohio. If there's not a program like this in their city, where would they buy one? What's the cost? What is the range? I didn't hear.
The range is
what would interfere with the signal?
As far as I know, there's not very much interference. Because like I said, it goes from this transmitter to that receiver. There's really not much interference. As far as cost of one of these receivers, that receiver itself is $1,100. They can purchase one similar to it that is not adjustable. And I think don't hold me to it, but I think they're about $700. They can go to projectlifesaver.org and look into that. The receivers, the transmitters that each client wears are $300 a piece. Yes, sir.
Why can't the clients change their own batteries?
Because it takes a special key to get it off, which I do have a couple hundred of them. The big reason is I don't want the clients to get in the habit of cutting it off. That's the reason. Plus, it also gives me an opportunity to see the clients and make sure everything's all good. The only thing a caregiver has to do on a daily basis, it has to be checked. And that's simply I give them a little black box, they place it over it, the light flashes, that tells them it's putting off the signal. When it doesn't,
Thank you.
they call me.
Thank you, Lieutenant Ford. Now, in honor of today's presentation, we'll provide a donation to Wheeler Missions in your honor. Next week, November 19th, we'll be again at the IMU in this Georgian room with our program featuring Perry Metz speaking on public broadcasting. Since it was just Veterans Day, and this is something we all take seriously every day, I would just like to honor our veterans in this club, in this room. So please stand if you have been in military service. Thank you. Thank you. Rotary Day at the United Nations was on November 9th. The event celebrates the two organizations' shared vision of peace and highlights the critical humanitarian activities that Rotary and the United Nations lead around the world. So if you would now stand to recite the four-way test with me. Of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun? Thank you very much.